Hello, welcome to The Point. This week's episode is rather depressing, but don't worry, I get my tits out at the end.
Depressing Quest is a free browser-based interactive fiction game that came out this year. In it, you play as a person suffering from depression, struggling with their day-to-day life. I've suffered from depression in the past, and playing it was certainly a powerful experience. I played it on a live stream earlier this year, and I had so much feedback from people that I ended up putting together a short documentary about games and their ability to help people cope with depression. It's not the most complex of games. You essentially make decisions which alter the story. It's a powerful experience and well worth an hour or so of your time. However, there seems to be a bit of reluctance in the Steam community. Zoe Quinn, one of the game's developers, has applied to have it added to the digital download service via their crowdsourced application system, Greenlight. It's been rejected once before, and knowing the internet gaming community, you can kind of see why. One, it's a text adventure that's currently available on browsers for free, so it doesn't nicely fit into any of gaming community's pre-established genres. And two, it's being developed by a woman who's clearly only plying her trade in game design because she couldn't get a job in hairdressing or walking into the breeze or vagina knitting. Zoe has been the victim of some pretty disgusting personal attacks, a story we've heard far too often this year. I'm not saying Phil Fish didn't get his fair share of abuse when Fez was released, but I think his detractors stopped short of calling him up and masturbating down the phone to him, and they didn't assume outright that he was a lesser designer because of his gender. Look, the entire debate over misogyny in the industry is a complete mess. We bundle in important issues around sexual harassment and employee equality with discussions about gender diversity in games. I'll be honest, I think giving out about the role of Princess Peach in Mario can belittle the arguments about much more serious issues, at least in terms of a lot of the male audience who are still trying to wrap their heads around these issues. All they see is an attack on their gender by people, many of whom in their opinion they don't respect, because on either side, common ground is rarely even attempted to be found. Some people on one side protest, which causes bitter counter-protests, and before you know it, there's this one massive unbridled argument and just two sides to pick from. And then as far as the other half is concerned, you're either a bleeding heart feminist who wants to rid the world of penises, or some basement-dwelling weirdo who sleeps with a soiled waifu pillow. Look, I'm not saying people are wrong to complain about issues. We've seen the industry take positive steps in relation to the archetypes and roles of female characters in games, and that's largely down to the calls of specific gaming figureheads and communities. But I don't think that the common male gamer is any more aware of sexism and discrimination in our industry than they were this time last year. It's a complicated topic, and I think most male gamers just stay clear of the issue entirely. And then for a smaller group, all of these issues act as an exposed nerve that causes them to react whenever it's brought up. It's a dumb, ugly narrative that sadly means that if any female developer speaks out about genuine, serious personal harassment, they're labelled as a feminist troublemaker. So he has been harassed, awfully, by assholes. But even having to bring up this fact is pissing me off, because I shouldn't have to. That sort of behaviour is unacceptable regardless of gender or age or ethnicity. But I have to, because I want to talk about why this game has had such a torrid time on Steam Greenlight. And sadly, that's a major reason, because girls can't design games, and that's why it's an interactive novel. Because novels aren't games. Because it has to be more interactive to be a game. Or some nonsense. I mean, seriously, we live in an industry which has an infatuation with repetition, where publishers only want to make games in pre-established genres, and where new ideas have to be justified over and over to see the light of day. So as far as I'm concerned, we should have a really good reason not to grandstand any game that contests the notion of what a game should be, that delves into areas that are uncomfortable and challenging to us as human beings. Plus, it's bloody free, and it'll probably help a lot of people understand depression more, or at least become more aware of it, which quite frankly, as somebody who struggled a lot with my condition as a child, is almost the hardest part.
So do me a favour, yeah, just go to Steam Greenlight and check out Depressing Quest, and if you like it, vote it up. Not because it's been created by a female developer, not because the internet is full of absolute dickheads, not out of guilt or anger or pity, just because it's an interesting looking game, and we need more of those.